Hi everybody, this is Miss Murphy and I am just here to remind you of a few things for the last steps of your personal mantra. One of the things that I talked about in class was just cleaning up your craftsmanship. So any of those lines that we drew earlier on, you want to take time to erase those out. I sometimes wait until after I have some of my outlines done, which I did here, and then I go in and erase any of those extra outlines that I have. And I'm still going to go in here and erase a little bit more, but you also want to make sure that you had at least 2 different fonts in your design and that you're using more than one medium. So for example, I colored in my lettering with Sharpie, and I actually used a little bit of a graphite watercolor pencil here, and I'm using some watercolor to emphasize the word positive down here. And if you're using any watercolors for your lettering, then I would suggest, really being conscientious of how much water you're using, because you don't want to wind up with something that you can't really erase there. So something else that we talked about in yesterday's class is that you can also add and draw designs inside of your fonts, and that's something that I did here, which I'm taking a moment to add some of my watercolor inside of my lettering here. And we also talked about adding any decorative designs or elements to accent your personal mantra, which would be anything like a border design, anything that emphasizes or outlines part of your mantra design. And I have added onto mine just like the decorative design here that I'm still painting. And also on the top here, I have this design, which one thing I will say is these watercolors, they tend to paint really lightly because they're not like the top quality watercolors, but sometimes what I do is I will just go over it and give it a second coat of paint just to make it a little bit darker. But this is also just to demonstrate that you can apply color, or if you just want to outline with your black Sharpie onto your decorative design elements that you add around the border to accentuate. And the other thing I would recommend is using your Sharpie once you're done, and I'm still finishing that there, and even just going, if you paint, maybe going over your letters again. And then up here, of course, I'd probably want to let this dry a little more, but you would maybe want to take your Sharpie after you paint, after you let it dry for a while, and then you can apply your outline on here just to refine it a little bit, to neaten it up. And I'm going to add a few kind of decorative accent lines here into my design up here. So that's something else you can consider doing. I'm going to add a little bit more here and just give it a little bit more texture on here. And then I'm going to go back in and just see if there's any areas that I need to refine or fix. Remember, something that we talked about was your craftsmanship and your overall neatness. So just going in and making sure that you have your decorative border designs and that you also refine your lettering. Like if you need to go back in and re-outline anything, like I'm going to go back in and just kind of fix some of my letters here, and just cleaning up any edges that need to be cleaned up. So that's about it, and I just wanted to go over that, so to finalize your personal mantra design. So good luck on your final steps.